One episode 238. After a couple of pretty big episodes, we're kind of light on the news this week. We got season recaps for both the Lakers and the 76ers. Plus, we're going to sprinkle in a little bit of NFL news. We had some schedule releases leaked, or I guess announced. International games have been announced along with a few others. Plus, we have two running backs who both got big paydays. We might share you guys that news. So, with all that being said, guys, stay tuned. Let's hop into the couple of NFL news items that we have before we get to the Lakers and the 76ers. First up, like I said, we got two running backs got paid. One got paid last week. Another one just got their bag today. Let's start with last week. Breece Hall of the Jets, who was franchise tagged, they came to a deal. I think it was 3 years. What was it, $45 million? Up to $45 million, I guess, with incentives. $29 million guaranteed. So yeah, it looks like the Jets, who had a lot of money to spend this offseason, secured their franchise running back, at least for the next 3 years. They got a kind of carousel at quarterback, but at least they got they got their wideout Garrett Wilson locked down, and they got a franchise running back locked down. So I'll start with you first, Jacob. This is your division. How do you feel about this big payday by Breece Hall?
I think it's warranted. I think since he's came into the league, I think he was a second or third round pick. He's been a really good weapon. Burst out kind of in his second year. It's a little high for me. I think that he's been their guy for a little while, and granted, their offenses have never really been good. Jets fans claim their offensive line is actually not that bad, but consistently the Jets don't have a good offense. I think this is more about sort of trying to build again for the future with all they had 3 draft picks, 3 first-rounders this year. They have 3 more next year. I think this is one of those moves of keeping your big names. They paid Garrett Wilson. I don't hate it. I think it's pretty expensive. I think he's the 5th highest paid running back. I think he's 5th, and now Achan's 3rd. But I think it's okay for the Jets. I think long-term, it's not that bad. I mean, they had interest for other teams had interest for trading for him. I think they wanted a second or third back, so they were definitely at a high price tag on him. Mm-hmm. But he cashed in, and hopefully he'll be kind of their bell cow moving forward if you're a Jets fan. But yeah, good luck with that one.
Lawrence, how do you feel about the big payday by Breece?
It's the main reason is to keep a name in New York, and in order to build like a foundation, you need pieces. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately for New York, you got to start somewhere. You can't go into a season with no running back. At least Breece Hall gives you the ability to have gives you the dual threat at running back. Mm-hmm. And they have the number 0 anyways. I don't remember his last name. Brennan Allen. That dude can run up the middle really, really hard and good. So, I don't have to send Hall up the middle to get murdered. Yeah, you can pay him this much money. It might be a little bit of an overshot. But, I don't know. If you want to compare, because, Achan, whatever his name is, he got paid today. I'm pretty sure that man's making $68 million. I would probably say Breece Hall is better than Achan, because Achan gets hurt every other game because he's a tiny little toothpick. So yeah, I would take Breece Hall over him, and I think you paid less money. And you have to pay the extra money because you're New York, you suck, and you always will suck because you're New York and you have a bad owner, and an owner who does not know how to run a team, runs his team into the ground every year and thinks that Madden ratings are the end-all be-all.
Hey, that's
did I say anything wrong there? Because I think that was dead ass. But I think Devon Achan is overrated.
I completely disagree. I'm on the flip side. I think Breece Hall is a little overrated because he's one of the only big names in the New York market. Whereas Achan, no one really knew about him. He kind of burst onto the scene. I mean, people don't realize he catches the ball out of the backfield too. He had 67 receptions last year, and he's explosive and he's a home run hitter. So I don't know. I think I like Achan's game a lot more than Brees Hall's.
But Achan gets hurt more than Brees Hall.
I guess it's a toss-up for me. I think both are probably a little bit overpaid, but when you find a running back, I feel like you got to keep him. Achan, 4 years, $64 million contract, $16 million per year, which makes him the third highest paid running back. Incentives could push him to $68 million. So how do you feel about this one?
Well, the problem is Achan has had a knee injury, a foot injury, a shoulder injury, and a calf injury throughout his career. And Brees Hall's only had that one ACL injury. Now, ACL is a little bit more dangerous, but he did get the correct time off. He did look kind of like poop when he first came back. Got a little more time under his belt and then looked a lot better. But the difference is Achan is... I'm going to say it. He's used as like you got to do everything for me kind of back at Miami. And he's not a do everything for me kind of back. That man is not good to run up the middle and try to bulldoze somebody. But they do try to make him do it. That's not how you should try to use him. That man should specifically be used catching balls out of the outfield, running balls out to the outside, and just using his speed where it can be used most valuably. But I think his injury history should not have warranted him that much money. He's not on the same level as Barkley and McCaffrey to making that money. We say constantly that McCaffrey shouldn't be making that money because as good as he is, that dude man's hurt every other season. So you give another guy who's almost like a McCaffrey this a little bit less, but the same amount of money pretty much for the value of them are just to get hurt every other season. Waste of money.
I mean, I don't know where the injury concerns really stem from, considering he's been in the league for 3 years. His first year he missed 8 games. Second year he missed 2 games, and then he missed 1 game. So it's like you make it sound like Chris McCaffrey misses every other season. He had 1 season where he missed half the season, and he's missed a game or 2 the last couple of years. Like I don't really understand where it comes from. He gets banged up because he's smaller, but like he's put up amazing stats.
He's not even 200 pounds.
Okay, that doesn't mean that he's not injury prone because he still plays in the games and he still is effective in the game.
But he's not effective. There's so many games where he's not effective.
I mean, he had like 1,800 scrimmage yards this year. I mean, that's pretty good on a Dolphins team that, just like the Jets, similarly, they were also not very good. But they rode him, and they actually had a decent offense when Tua wasn't turning the ball over.
This is true.
I mean, all that he deserves. But I don't think third in the league is really high for him. But I do think Achan's a beast, and like I understand where the Dolphins are coming from.
Yeah, I think they got to go back to that model they had with him and Mostert in the backfield. I think Lawrence is on to something about running up the middle. I think you probably have to specialize how you run with Achan and then have you a workhorse type B type of back for those like short yardage up the middle type plays. But a little bit of overpay, but I see what you're saying, Jacob. Like the Dolphins, they need to keep some talent in Miami, so you're gonna have to probably overpay one guy, right? While they're currently eating Tua's cap situation there. And I think that's it for the NFL. We have a couple international. Oh, I think the whole slate of international games were released. Do you guys have any games you're looking forward to? I believe the very first game is on a Wednesday this year. I believe it's Seattle and the Patriots, right? Is that confirmed?
I truly don't care about any international games. I only care that they're on at 9:30 in the morning, and it's like an early game before the 1 o'clock games. What I am excited for is the Carolina Panthers have the shortest schedule in the entire league. And when I say shortest schedule, they have to travel the least amount of miles.
Okay.
And the Carolina Panthers also have the third hardest schedule based on last year's performances in the league. So if there is one pretty light for the Panthers, it's the fact that we don't have to travel that much to get our ass beat half the time.
Any games you looking forward to, Jacob?
Yeah, the first game of the season, the opener is going to be the Seahawks and Patriots. I got leaked today. But then the next day in Australia, you have the 49ers and Rams. Because I think it opens on a Wednesday this year, and then the Thursday games via Australia and the pretty good matchup between, a returning Matt Stafford and a hopefully healthy 49ers team, even though they'll probably, have half the roster will be injured in the game, or if not before the game. But that's a good one. The Cowboys play the Ravens in Brazil. That'll be kind of interesting. But yeah, kind of like Lauren said, like I don't really wonder or care about these things until they broadcast it the week before, and you just got to set your alarm to get up a little bit earlier and place your bets earlier than normal.
Yeah. I feel the same way, except my Bengals got their first international game in the Joe Burrow era. So the Week 9 versus the Falcons in Madrid should be a good game. It's gonna be.
I'm trying to find that thing real quick so I can tell you guys where you guys rank at in terms of your distance of travel.
I do know the Bengals do have the third easiest schedule this year. So finally, after years of getting the hardest, they get one of the easiest.
I am excited for the fact that Carolina gets to play the Bears in Week 1.
Mm-hmm.
And the last time we played the Bears, they beat our ass really bad. And it made us look really bad in the fact that like we really got scammed in that trade for Bryce Young for the Bears.
Yeah.
But now it kind of makes it feel like a little bit better because Moore's gone. So at least they don't have him anymore. So, now if Bryce Young Week 1 goes out there and beats the shit out of the Bears, we don't have to feel so bad anymore. We don't have to get shoved in our face that we gave up our life, arm, and a leg for a midget quarterback.
Well, what happens if Caleb Williams throws for 450 yards, gets 4 touchdowns?
Well, I don't have to worry about that because he's a Bears quarterback. So
he's getting 4,000 this year. Bold prediction.
He's getting 3,400.
Bold prediction by Jake.
Still a good season.
He has the best opponent's win percentage of last year. You think that man's getting 4,000 yards? With what receivers? He just lost his best one.
I think what's his name was their number one. Dunze. Rome was definitely number one, and Luther Burton's coming on late.
Luther Burton, yeah.
I would not say Rome Dunze was his number one. That man only played like
he had more
11 games.
The tight end they drafted, I know they like him. Forgot his name.
Matt Loveland, yeah.
Yeah, Loveland, yeah.
Let's see, Rome Dunze. Last year, that man played 12 games. Your number one played 12 games? You can't have a number one playing 12 games. That's just not okay.
Not my number one.
Not number one either. That's a bum-ass number one.
You don't even got a number one, Lawrence.
What you mean I ain't got no number one?
Oh, I guess Ted is now, technically.
Yeah, what you talking about? Get my boy out of your mouth like that. Like my team ain't got no number one. What's your number one?
DJ Moore.
That fucking old DJ Moore at this point.
Came all the way back around to DJ Moore. That's crazy.
Hey, DJ Moore still got some juice in him, Lawrence. You can't.
Is he 30? Is he almost 30 now?
I think he is 30. No, he's probably 28, 29.
29.
He is 29.
Yeah.
He's our age, Markel. Well, actually, he's my age because you turned 30 this year. So he's my age.
He got some juice left to squeeze, man. Don't put him.
He's a 97, baby.
Never had a good quarterback.
Don't write him off yet. Okay. Don't write him off.
Whoa. He had Cam Newton for a year.
I said he never had a good quarterback, yeah.
Cam Newton was an MVP.
But not when DJ Moore was there, I don't think, right?
No, that was post. There. Yeah. That was post, yeah.
I mean, that might have been after the horrific and most graphic TJ Watt injury that he caused, the dirty player that he is, but,
Hey, hate to see it, right? Switching to the NBA, we got the Lakers, we got the 76ers. Let's start in the East. We got the Sixers who, let's call it how it is, guys. Belt to ass, 4 straight games. Get the brooms out. They were swept. We had kids on the street of New York sweeping Sixers jerseys. We had guys in wheelchairs stomping on Sixers jerseys. It was crazy, man.
They had Sabrina Carpenter so mad that she wouldn't let the Knicks fans or Knicks players into the Met Gala after party because she's a Philadelphian.
Yeah, did not expect that from Philly at all. I expected some type of fight. Joel in and out the lineup, but I don't think it mattered who was going to be in the lineup because I don't think they had enough enough to even compete fairly with the Knicks. So I guess in the fallout of this, Daryl Morey is gone. In the interim, Bob Myers, legendary, Warriors president of basketball operations, is I guess taking over the team in the interim while they search for another replacement for Daryl Morey. So we'll see what happens there, but there's always, the rumors of, do they move off of Embiid? Do they try to move off of Paul George this offseason? Does Tyrese Maxey ask out? I mean, there's a lot of question marks with this team. So I'll start with you first, Jacob. How will you grade the Sixers season? And in terms of all those question marks, like, will we get any conclusions, resolutions to those question marks, or are we going to see this Philly team running back?
I don't think they'll run it back. I think that overall their season played out pretty well considering the result. I mean, you never want to get swept in a series, second round, yeah, but I mean, I don't think anyone of us had them winning a series coming into the season. So the fact that they were the 5th seed or 6th seed, whatever they were, and I think they were the 7 because they had Boston, yeah. So I think they outperformed what everyone thought they were. I mean, Embiid played more games, 38, than we thought he was going to. Still a weird issue with his health.
Yeah,
I would say move off, but you're going to get pennies on the dollar for him, so you might as well just kind of wait and stick it out. I think Paul George, who I'm just a classic Paul George hater, I think you got to move off him because of VJ Edgecombe and his development. I mean, he plays a similar style, more athletic game than PG. PG's a better defender, obviously, he's more experienced, but I think they really got a good one with Edgecombe, 3rd overall last year. So I would continue to build the team around Maxey and Edgecombe and try to get some guys that can play defense and clog it up in the middle. Because I mean, realistically, you can't really count on Embiid. Anything that you do get from him is a plus, and that's kind of an awkward situation to be in. But yeah, any team Paul George is on, I want him off of it. So I'd say get rid of him.
Lawrence, how would you grade the Sixers season? And in terms of all those question marks, do they get answered? Do they run the team back? How do you see this thing going?
I mean, after that little pooper just said my team didn't have a number 1 wide receiver, I'm going to have to agree with him about the Paul George part because I'm going to say VJ Edgecombe looked really good. Mm-hmm. Paul George just only eats into his minutes. Paul George is 36 years old, making $54 million next year. Cannot do that. Idiotic. Stupid. Cannot do that. Especially when you're playing Embiid to play half the games. What, 58 million next year.
Yep.
Jeez.
So, Maxey's just fucking foaming at the mouth on this team, knowing that he is the heart and soul of it. And I know, last time I said a guy was the heart and soul, and then I said some other guy was the face. Like your president's the face, and you have a heart and soul.
Yeah.
Maxey is probably the heart and soul and face at this point. Because you can't call Joel Embiid the face. Man doesn't play enough games to be a face. Mm-hmm. So Maxey is probably the heart and soul because he puts everything out there. And the face. And he makes less money than the guy who's going to play half the games. But he does look damn good when he does play. So you can't get so mad. But problem being, you got to move off that $54 million. Now, what are you going to get for that $54 million? I don't know, man. I really don't know how you're going to move it. You're probably going to have to give up a lot of picks. I don't know how many picks they got, but probably going to have to give up some picks just to make it look enticing. Probably going to have to eat a bad contract.
I would go after bad contracts. I would trade that one big bad contracts for like 2 like bench players that are like both like names that are okay, but also like are overpaid right now.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm just going to go based on last episode. I'm not trying to dig deep into the NBA right now. I don't watch enough about the NBA to dig deep. But we were talking about Christian Braun's contract being so dog shit.
Trade. Ooh.
Christian Braun is 25 years old. And there's still some fucking light in the tunnel that he has. And Paul George is 36, making twice as much money. So it makes Braun's contract not so horrible. Now you're going to have to make up the money. So you'll have to figure out how you're going to make up the money. Yeah, so then you go back to the Nuggets real quick. So you got Braun. That's going to make $23 million.
Yes.
So Cam Johnson. So you're going to have to trade for Cam Johnson and Christian Braun. They probably do that because they probably don't care about Christian Johnson that bad. So you get Cam Johnson and Christian Braun for Paul George. Now, would the Nuggets do it? Probably not. I mean, that just makes your aging roster so much older with a man that's too old to begin with. But, I mean, these are just hypotheticals. Like that's the kind of deal you have to make. You have to go find a team who has a Christian Braun on their team who's making too much money, but to you will not be too much money because he's 25 years old and he's not 36 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you got to figure out a way to get rid of the 36-year-old because he's making too much money to like structure rebuild your team. You're gonna have to figure out what you're gonna do with Oubre, Quentin Grimes, Drummond, Andre Drummond.
Big Drummond. Yeah.
You're gonna have to figure out what you're gonna do with them. Personally, I don't see any reason to get rid of Andre Drummond for $5 million. You could probably re-sign Drummond for $5 million. Man's gonna get you 10 rebounds a game. Man, arguably could play center for you and let Embiid play power forward for. Let's say Embiid plays 36 minutes. Let's be more realistic. 32 to 30 minutes a game. Mm-hmm. He could be playing 20 minutes of center and 10 minutes of power forward while Andre Drummond plays 10 to 12 minutes at center. Like, it allows Embiid not to get beat up so much by big men in the paint. So maybe his pain / injury tolerance might go up just a tiny bit. He's dealing with less physical beings at power forward. Now, I'm not saying across the league you're playing with less just physical beings, but overall you're playing with less physical beings. And I don't know. I think Kelly Oubre's got to go. I feel like that man low-key is a walking liability sometimes. I think that man shoots more often than he should. His shooting percentages sometimes just make... I don't know. I've just been a Kelly Oubre hater since the beginning. But then if I look at his plus-minus. Okay, his plus-minus. The last game of the series, he was a negative 28. And then the first game of the series, he was a negative 25. That man was a walking liability in that series. And then he averaged 26, 36, 40, 27, and 31 minutes per game with field goal percentages of 66, 43, 56. That's not bad. And 33%. I think you kind of have to move off of him. He's 30 years old. You could probably find something out there cheaper, better. I wouldn't say better, but cheaper at 30. Play a little bit harder. But if you want me to be dead ass and honest with you, this team is a borderline playoff team next year, even coming out of the East, because you only have teams getting better. Mm-hmm. We thought the Hawks were really good. We're pretty good this season. The Hawks are not a borderline play-in team next year. Hawks are making the playoffs without question. And then we saw the Hornets make that change last season towards the end. The Hornets are not a play-in team next year. They are 6 seed, borderline 6 seed, 5 seed. Like these are other teams that are going to be coming to take your place that low-key you shouldn't have had to begin with. They were a play-in team that ran the hot wave right at the end of the season that made it just outside the play-in. And a lot of the East is going to get a little bit more decent, like the Pacers, the Indiana Pacers. They were poopy this year. By all means, they were poopy. Mm-hmm. They get Halliburton back next year. As much as we think they might be poopy next year because they didn't get their pick, they got Zubac, they pretty much lost. That team's probably going to either be in the playoffs or in the play-in, fighting for that spot. The Raptors, they're only getting better. The Bucks, that is a crapshoot that nobody knows. They're either the bottom of the league or they're probably in the play-in because Giannis can just pull himself to the play-in by himself. But we don't know if he's going to be there. That's the big kicker. But honestly, roads only get harder for 76ers. The team is only getting older. And at this point, if you want me to be honest, your main focus has to be Edgecombe and Maxey, which unfortunately means like Oubre. You're making $8 million. Man's probably going to want like $8 million, $9 million again. You could probably get 2 veteran players for that price. Sorry. Just it is what it is.
Yeah, we'll see what the Sixers do. I agree with both of you guys. They probably have to move off of one of Embiid and Embiid, Paul George is probably equally as tough to move those contracts either way. So I think whatever team.
I think personally, Embiid's never going to go anywhere. I think that man's just going to stay in Philly. Unfortunately, I think that whole trust the process and all the buy-in for the longest time that fan base had to have for him. Unfortunately, the man just can't go anywhere. he is their goose egg that just sucks.
We'll see. We'll see. Whoever they can get off of, you have to move that contract, and then like you guys are saying, just move towards getting younger. I like Quentin Grimes if you can retain his services. Move off of Oubre if he's gonna ask for too much, and re-sign some guys like Big Drum. He's a good backup. Bona, he could play center for you if you move off of Embiid. So just keep getting young. I think they can be in the same spot, even if they move off of one of Embiid or Paul George or even both. They probably can be in the same spot because they still have enough talent, and Edgecombe's only going to get better.
A contract that might look sexy to them, which I would say that a team that is probably not fully bought into him would be Darius Garland. Darius Garland's making $42 million next year at 26, but he's on the Clippers, so I don't know why I just said that because Paul George isn't going to go back to the Clippers. I was quickly pushing through all these people, and it was the first contract that I saw that might look good, but I didn't put two and two together. I'm sorry to interrupt you, my king.
All good. Hey, Clippers and Paul George, they're probably not going to make that reunion, but
probably not.
We do have one team though that needs a lot of shaking up. They got a lot of money this offseason to spend, and that's the Lakers. Another team built to ass guys. Without Luka, this team didn't stand a chance. LeBron kept it close the last game, but even then they couldn't do any damage to the Thunder, who, J-Dub didn't play this whole series, so Thunder have 2 sweeps under their belt to start the postseason. Lakers have a lot of question marks here. Seems like, they want to keep Reeves. They're open to keeping LeBron. Will LeBron take a pay cut? Who knows? Will Reeves take a pay cut? How much will he command? Will some team out there give him the full max? Will the Lakers give him the full max? Who knows? They've been rumored to be in the Giannis sweepstakes as well. So it's a lot of possibilities, a lot of different avenues the Lakers can go. So Lawrence, you can start first this time. How would you grade the Lakers season, and where do they go from here? I think they have about $47 million in cap space that they can spend. Of course, that's pending Austin Reeves re-signing or whatever the case is.
I guess I give it a B. They made it out. They made it outside of the play-in, so they did good. Honestly, their season only got derailed because Luka got hurt. Mm-hmm. I mean, this season would be this series, the first series, everything would have been completely different if Luka was around. And honestly, the man played enough games to be in the run for MVP voting. So he played enough games to be a part of that. You can't fault them for the fact that he got injured right at the end. But what I guess I could say is the amount of times that Luka played, quote unquote, through injuries when he was in Dallas, which they always made it a big deal that he was playing through injuries in Dallas. The fact that he was not willing to even attempt or think about playing for the Lakers, I think says more about the fact that he doesn't truly want to be at the Lakers. Mm-hmm. And knowing that a lot of guys that do come from Europe, beside Paul Gasol, most of them do not go to big markets and floors. They kind of like the small markets, and they kind of just go there to stay there, and they do well for themselves. But I don't know. I feel like Luka was bought in Dallas. I think he liked Dallas. I think it was probably the city and the climate and everything. No taxation on his money. I bet you he liked making all of his money instead of getting taxed 40% of his money. Because, as a European, that probably would be pretty sexy to get all your money. Because, you're in Europe, you get taxed a high hell just like you do in Los Angeles. But, I personally believe that it's foolish I think it's foolish to get LeBron back. I get it. He's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. And that's fine. And you had your beautiful run with him. He got you a chip. As there may be an asterisk on that chip, he still got you the chip. But you cannot sign a 42-year-old to, and let's be fair, if LeBron James comes back and he wants $30 million, I think that's a fair price, and I think you do it. But there's no way that LeBron James is playing for anybody less than $40 million. And I think $40 million is too much for a 42-year-old vet who you're not going to be able to use effectively game to game in a regular season. And you're really just going to have to be holding out into the postseason. So knowing that, he's only going to have to re-sign with playoff teams. He's only re-signing with playoff teams. It's just the fact that you're going to have to pay him too much money. And I don't know. I feel like LeBron at 42 years old, with all the not movie, but all the Hollywood contracts he has to ads and TV, and he should be taking pay cuts. He should be Tom Brady right now. Mm-hmm. Like, Tom Brady had great teams and won 7 Super Bowls because he didn't waste all the money the Patriots had and made sure that he had skills at different positions, even on his defense. So that way, when he wasn't on the field, at least there wasn't bums on the other side playing. Problem with LeBron is if you re-sign him, dude's gonna want like $50 million. That's crazy for a 42-year-old. And even if he doesn't, he's gonna want 40 plus, which for the Lakers, you got a lot of building to do because all these contracts are expiring really. And if you look at the guys you have signed long term, I don't believe any of them are long-term asset pieces. Sorry, I don't think DeAndre Ayton's the guy for the future. No. He's just there for here and now. I don't think Jared Vanderbilt's the guy for the future. I think he's just the guy for here and now. I think the only 2 pieces you have to go and build off of is Luka and Austin. And even Austin sometimes makes me question whether or not he's worth it. But for $14 million, goddamn if he's worth it. But he won't be $14 million for long, that's for sure. And then looking at the rest of it, Marcus Smart, he's 32 years old. That dude plays and looks and acts like he's almost in his 40s. So those legs and knees are not a 32-year-old's legs and knees. That man's been in too many long playoff series with Boston to have, 32-year-old knees. And I get it. LeBron's always been in playoff series. LeBron's just a totally different element / animal. Just completely. That's why he is the GOAT. Now, you might say, like, MJ's your GOAT. I don't care who your GOAT is. You can probably call a GOAT for any top 5 player in any sport is technically a GOAT. Because if you think about it, there's over like 150 players on each roster every single season with the NBA. So you're telling me that LeBron James has been top 5 for the last 20 seasons? That dude's a GOAT. Like, just face it, he's a GOAT. Any person who's sitting top 10 all time in their profession is a GOAT. That's like trying to tell me that, like, oh yeah, Tom Brady's a GOAT, but I shouldn't not be allowed to say that Peyton Manning's also a GOAT. Peyton Manning's got 4 MVPs, 2 Super Bowls. Peyton Manning is also a GOAT. LeBron James, for whatever standard you want to put, he's a GOAT. He just doesn't deserve GOAT salary at this point. Man's 42. You got to learn to call it when it is. But I just don't think they have enough pieces, and they really need to add pieces.
Jacob, what do you think the Lakers need to do this offseason, and how would you rate their season?
I thought they had a good season. Obviously, the guys weren't all healthy at the same time, but they played pretty well. I think clearly Luka is the face of this team for as long as they possibly can make it work. I think the big question is Austin Reeves and what that next contract looks like, because it looks like it's going to be a really big one. They have a lot of money to spend. A lot of money is coming off the book. I think they're in play for a big star. And you mentioned they're in on Giannis, and I realized, do you think you can put Austin Reeves as the brunt of that trade and then use a bunch of your unprotected first-round picks? Because if you had a duo of Luka and Giannis, if I was the Bucks, I could say, hey, what if one year they both get hurt and the Lakers just stink? Then it's an unprotected first. There could be value in that, because I think a Luka and Giannis, duo would be insane. That'd be so awesome. But at the same time, at age 30 plus for Giannis and 27 for Luka, like, those first round picks unprotected in 2032. Like, who knows what would happen by then? So I think that would actually be really interesting for the Lakers, but it has to be something big. They need something massive. They need. I mean, obviously LeBron has to make a decision on if he's going to stay, and that'll definitely affect what their money's going to look like. But I personally can see both sides. Like, I can see him coming back for a big number. I could see him going to another team, like we talked about before with Cleveland and the Warriors potentially. But I think if he does play next year, I think he probably does play for the Lakers. But I still think that you can use Austin Reeves and try to make something happen with him and try to get a bigger star in there. Not that he's not a nice player. I'm saying use him and try to get somebody that. I mean, it's the Lakers. They can't just be a playoff first round exit team or second round exit team with Luka for the next 10 years. That's not how they roll. So I think they're going to take a big swing with or without LeBron.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I give them a B plus. Third in the West again. Unfortunate that Luka and AR went down at the same time and kind of derailed what they were hoping was going to be a deep playoff run. But hey, I agree. I think take a big swing. AR is he's a great piece. Let's be honest, he's a great piece. Is he the right piece for this team? I don't think so. I think that backcourt of him and Luka, they just getting cooked. Like defensively, they are just getting cooked. And I think when you build a roster around Luka, you need two-way guys at every position. So I know Luka's been getting better on defense, and he's been trying. At least as of this year, he tried a lot more. But I think you gotta see if you can swap Austin with a two-way guy. I think the Lakers lost. I mean, they still have a chance to use his contract, but they really lost out on flipping his contract for big last trade deadline. I think that was the time to move on Austin Reeves because he was only going to get better. Like, we've seen improvement from him every single year. So we'll see what they can do with Austin Reeves. What his number is going to be, I don't know, guys. Like, he could be 40 plus is what I'm thinking. Maybe some team's going to sucker in and give him the full max, but I guess if they do that, then maybe you do a sign and trade and get something back, and then use those assets to go get Giannis. Because that's pretty much the only big move the Lakers can do, right? Is go get Giannis. I don't really see anything else out there. Kawhi, do you really want Kawhi and LeBron on the same team? If LeBron comes back at a less number, I don't think you want that. Especially with Kawhi's impending situation. Do you want to? I don't know who else is out there. Ja, do you want to take a swing on Ja? No, that's another defensive liability backcourt. Don't want that, right?
Yeah, they need their second superstar to be a defensive, like a big, like Giannis is Giannis, but he also is an amazing defensive player. Like, I think their number two guy, like you said, like needs to also be like a defensive anchor. Maybe Cleveland can break up the Twin Towers, and you can convince them to move off of Mobley or something. Like AR is a really good player, and AR is young enough, so you could build around him. But like you said, the fit's just not there with Luka as your best player. So
yeah, Mobley. Hey, that's a nice. If Cleveland, if they don't make it past the series, they have to do something there. So they really move off of Mobley, and they take on Austin Reeves, and you let James Harden walk. That's a possibility. Just to keep Donovan Mitchell satisfied and see if he resigns, or hey, do the Lakers go and get Donovan Mitchell? Likewise, like I think there's a lot of possibilities on the Cavs, but outside of that, like I'm not really seeing anything the Lakers can do. So you just got to hope that Reeves takes less money, and you can convince LeBron to take maybe 20-30 million, and then you go get some other top end free agent that's going to be out there, like a Peyton Watson. Like, what if they can sign Peyton Watson for like 15 million, 16 million from the leftover money that that they have from saving LeBron and Austin Reeves? I feel like that'd be a nice piece. And then you re-sign Smart. You find a decent center. Like, you can't bring Ayton back, right? Like, he's ass. Like, you gotta let that boy go.
I will throw this out there as a random spot that I low-key, I'm not even going to say low-key, I high-key think that LeBron's going to go to. And it just happened to be the fact that, like, his most recent interview when he was playing golf, and he said that he's never going to play in a city. At this point, he hates playing where there's snow, anywhere there's snow. So that rolls out so much of the NBA, because he's going to have to live kind of anywhere where there's snow.
Just Cleveland, right?
I kind of think he's going to go back to Miami.
Nah.
I think he goes back to Miami. I bet you he takes. I think if he's going to take a pay cut, it's either going to be for LA, and LA's probably going to do it, so he's probably not going to leave LA. But if LA doesn't want to do it, and he's willing to take a pay cut, I bet you Miami takes him for $25 to $30 million. And I don't think they ask any questions. I think they know what they're going to get. They know they're going to get a 42-year-old that's going to be good in the playoffs. You just got to get him to the playoffs. And Miami's in the East. It ain't that hard to get to the playoffs. And once I'm in the playoffs, anything can happen. I got Bam Adebayo. I got Tyler Hero one more year. This will be my last year of Tyler Hero. So the boy's got to fucking go hard in order to get the next contract because he's getting $33 million. He ain't getting $33 million unless he makes a little bit of noise in the playoffs. That's just going to be his Achilles heel because he's got the liability on the defensive side. And then you look at the rest of the rosters that the Heat have. You got Andrew Wiggins, stalwart at defense, not a liability in offense. He's just there. He's decent, average, can't complain, can't bitch, can't do anything. Probably could re-sign Nolan Powell for a little bit less money because he's 32. He hears LeBron's going to play for him. He probably comes back. And then he just got a bunch of young talent who will only get 2 times better because of LeBron's there.
Not a bad idea, Lawrence. And, I was right there with you. I think that a caveat to this is if they get Giannis. Now, if Giannis goes to Miami, you can kind of book LeBron going there for less. And there was reports coming out today that LeBron's willing to take a vet minimum for the right situation. So
really,
I honestly, I was going to say that the perfect place for him to go for a vet minimum is Miami. He gets to be on the beautiful beach of Miami all the time. LeBron loves Miami. He still talks about how he likes Miami.
His wife, Savannah, she loves Miami.
And if he can go back to warm weather, and honestly, if he ends up on Miami, Miami's going to do some stupid trade in which they end up with Bronny James Jr. They will. They'll send over what's his man's name? Kaspararis Jakowinskis, whatever this name is. They'll send that guy for Bronny James Jr. just because LeBron's there.
Get rid of KJ.
You will because LeBron is your GOAT. You will. You just don't have a choice. LeBron said so. You got to do it. LeBron is GM/player. He's going to be like, I don't even know how to say that dude's man's name. You want me to play with him? Give me my son.
Yakuchonis is a baller.
How would you feel about that, Marco?
Well, he doesn't want it for Yakuchonis.
They're not sending Yakuchonis. He's a nice young prospect. Played well in Illinois, last year, and then played well with us this year.
Well, they can get rid of Kel L. Ware.
They're not getting rid of Kalel.
You're gonna have to get rid of something to get LeBron because Bronny James Jr. is gonna go where his daddy goes. That's just a guarantee.
Isn't Bron a free agent? He's picking where he's going.
He's gonna pick it, but Bronny James Jr. is not a free agent, so he's gonna make sure
his ass the second Bron leaves.
Yes. They'll probably just re-sign.
They're gonna keep Bronny just so they can trade to whoever Bron goes to.
They'll trade something. Drew Smith. They're not trading any of these other young
Nobody
guys.
wants no Drew Smith at 28 years old. Nobody wants that old ass.
Nobody wants Bronny, apparently, right?
What would you feel, Marco, if you guys traded a second-round pick?
Well, Bronny's only 21 years old. He would fit in Miami really well. He can drink alcohol.
Hey, we do have a second-round pick this year, pick 41. So if it was pick 41, we get Bronny, hey, let's just do it. I have no issue with that.
He's only making $2 million, so what's the big deal?
Yeah, that'll be the price of whatever second rounder you pick up. And at pick 41, maybe a guy slips out the first round the Lakers and they go grab him. The Lakers need all the cheap young help they can get anyway. So, hey, I'm not opposed to LeBron coming back. I always thought if he leaves, he's probably going to come back, either to Cleveland or Miami. I don't know if he's going to add another destination to his
I don't believe he's ever going to go back to Cleveland. I think he did what he had to do in Cleveland. He got them a title. Mm-hmm. And even after he got him a title, they still act like he's toxic. I truly don't think he'll ever go back to Cleveland. He has nothing else to prove in Cleveland. Now, I'm not saying he has something else to prove in Miami, but Miami has no tax on his income, and he gets to live next to a beach. So if he makes, I don't know, sorry, but if this man makes $10 million in Miami, is almost the equivalent of making $18 million in LA. It really is.
Yeah, and I'm sure he still has his house in Miami. His wife loves Miami. You know, Bryce is in college, so he doesn't have to worry about the kids besides Zari. And Zari plays volleyball, so what other better place than go play volleyball in Miami? You know, so I think it lines up. But I think team wise, it will be fine. Like LeBron could start the 4 or 5, whatever it looks like, or 3, I guess if you get Giannis, which I think they have a good chance of getting. Play LeBron, Giannis, and Bam together. That's a pretty formidable front court right there. I don't see how anyone's going to stop that, especially if you get LeBron at a big discount.
Oh, I guess since we have a little bit of time since we just finished this, I rescind on my Minnesota winning the series at all. They suck.
We'll see.
They barely beat the Spurs when Embiid got ejected in the second quarter.
We shall see on that one. We still got.
I lost my soul on the Minnesota. Rudy Gobert in this series does not look like Rudy Gobert against Jokic. I think he had something to prove against Jokic. I don't know why he doesn't think he has something to prove against Wemby, but he doesn't look the same. He looks like ass. He looks like we've been talking shit about for the last 3 or 4 years. Last night when they played, he scored 4 whole points. I don't care what you do. How do you only score 4 points in an NBA game? And you're playing. Sorry, he only played 23 minutes. But how do you only score 4 points? Like come on.
Hey, it's a tough question. Well, that's all we got, guys. Anything else? You got anything else, Jacob?
No, the Sabres tied up their series yesterday. We're 2-2 going into the weekend, looking to get out of the second round and make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Out here in the West, Vegas took a 3-2 lead over Anaheim last night, and Colorado is trying to finish off the Wild tonight. However, Minnesota is leading 3-1 going into the third period. So hockey's still going. It's been a competitive second round, and we'll probably have the matchups and the previews for the conference finals next episode.
Lawrence, you got anything?
Well, I don't want to sound sappy, but I will start it off with rest in peace to Clark, Brendan Clark.
Mm-hmm.
I was a big fan. I always thought he was underutilized, and there was so much more to be there. Injuries derailed his career. I wish he had someone to be able to talk to before he did what he did, but there is you can't stop what's already happened, so you can only remember what he was. And let's not forget he had promise, and he was a damn good player. But moving on from that, I don't want to kill the whole mood, but I guess UFC fight card this weekend. It's not very cool. It's not flashy. It's not sexy. It's just a simple Allen versus Costa, Arnold Allen versus Malcolm, or I don't even know, Costa. Melky Costa.
Uh-huh.
Arnold Allen, you kind of know what you're going to get. He's kind of been the same what he's been his entire time. He's the moment that competition has gotten a little bit more stiffer, he's kind of gotten a little bit more proven to, I guess, be a little bit more prone to losses. I don't know a better way to say it, but like he lost to Max Holloway. No disrespect in that. That's a tough opponent, but he lost by decision. And you know what? Not getting knocked out by Max Holloway is a plus. And honestly, his last 4 fights have all gone to decision, and he's lost 3 of the 4. Unluckiness. But he lost to Gene Silva last time out. As you know, Gene Silva is not any walking bum. He is a respectable opponent. So I low-key don't believe he's going to get the victory. I think it's probably going to be Costa, but he is the favorite, so you kind of have to respect it. And the opponents he's fought up leading to it kind of gives him the edge. He's got a strength of schedule that's really tough, but it's going to be a good fight. Like I just said, Arnold Allen goes to decisions most of the time, so you know they're going to be duking it out for a lot of the time. neither one of these dudes likes to take it to the ground and just kiss and hug. And that is probably a sexy thing to feel, you know, at the last time out, having to see, you know, Pat Sabatini just hug and kiss the whole time, having to see Sean Brady just hug and kiss the whole time, you know.
A lot of ground and pound for Sean Brady.
Yeah. So I don't know anything about the second fight, Do-Ho Cho and Daniel Santos.
Mm-hmm.
I might sound like a casual. I simply just don't really know who these guys are. But that's what's beautiful about a fight card. That's a fight night. This is their time to show who they are. Now, as I say all this, the fight right before them, Wellmaker versus Juan Diaz. Wellmaker's got to go out there and like put on a nice performance because he was looked at as his top prospect coming up. In his last time out, he looked like dog shit. And I'm pretty sure he lost to a guy on like a week's notice. And I'm not, no, that's not me shitting on the guy who he lost to on a week's notice, because the guy he lost to on a week's notice he beat Wellmaker on a week's notice and then beat Rafael Estevam by punching him in the liver. Not many people win by liver shots. So this man is 2-0 in the UFC, and his first win was against Wellmaker, and Wellmaker's whole entire persona was low-key derailed by the guy who came in on a week's notice and beat his ass. And, okay, we want to say Wellmaker's really good. He had a cool knockout on the Contender Series. And then he had a cool knockout against Cameron. I'm not even going to try to say that South American's name because I don't know how to say the last name. But he was not a great fighter. He's not anything special. And then he beat up Chris Moitano, who, if I remember correctly, this is the man that stepped in on short notice to fight Sean O'Malley, and then absolutely was just a straight up punching bag for O'Malley to pretty much catapult O'Malley to being like this upstart, beautiful prospect that he is today. And this guy was his punching bag to prove that. And this guy, Chris Montino, is 0-4 in the UFC. So he's never won a UFC fight. So Wellmaker, who was this beautiful prospect coming up, has never beaten anything beautiful in the UFC. And he's 10-1. He's facing a unranked Juan Diaz, who has one Contender Series win against Juan II Quan. So I think this is a very good card for Wellmaker. I think Wellmaker, he has the reach, he has the size, he has the promise leading into it. If he looks like crap coming into this fight or in this fight, I think all his stock is just gone. And his stock only became what it was because of his beautiful knockout in the Contender Series. So he really needs to make the most of it. And then, I don't know, the rest of the card will play out like it does. There really isn't anything or anyone that beautiful in the rest of the card. But I low-key think Wellmaker, this is Wellmaker's night. This is Wellmaker's night to win either knockout or performance of the night. He's got to do something. He needs to wow us. He has not done anything that impressive in the UFC to be gassed up as he is. That'll be my last take.
Fair enough. UFC Fight Night this Saturday. I believe they're in Vegas, so
it's just a Apex fight. It's nothing sexy.
At the Apex,
But
make sure you go ahead.
I think the beauty in the Apex is if you look like crap in the Apex, I'm sorry, but that makes you really, really look like crap. There is no other UFC event, okay, like the numbered events, where you can absolutely hear your coaches at all times. That's the beauty of the Apex. When you're fighting in the Apex, at all times you can hear your coaches calling out to you what to do. So if you look bad in the Apex, that just means you're not that coachable.
We shall see UFC back in Apex. Make sure you guys tune in and watch that. But yeah, with that being said, guys, we're going to head on out. Thank you guys for watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify. Yeah, we will see you next week, episode 237 of the Sideline Podcast. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.